13th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202.1 in an effort to address the conflict between the requirements of the Open Meetings Law and the governor's emergency orders limiting public gatherings. Specifically, Executive Order 202.1 suspends Article 7 of the Public Officers Law, also known as the Open Meetings Law, to the extent necessary to permit any public body to meet and take such actions as authorized by law without allowing the public to be physically present at the meeting. The order also authorizes public bodies to meet remotely by conference call or similar service. If a public body restricts in-person access to its meetings or conducts a meeting remotely by conference call or other similar service, the public body must provide the public the ability to view or to listen to such meetings and must record and later transcribe such meetings. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to said orders. Public comment period shall be suspended for this meeting as it is not required by law, and there is no scheduled public hearing, and technically difficult based on the circumstances. The town will accept questions and comments via input via email and or regular mail and will be answered directly by the appropriate town personnel as soon as possible. Regular town meeting format in person with public comment will return as soon as the emergency conditions resolve.
Thank you, Matt. One of the things I just wanted to add to that is I think everybody's aware that the governor moved into phase 1 today, and Mike Clark, I'm sure you're listening.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody wants more specifics on it, they can go to forwardny.gov and look at what is permitted per phase. One of the downsides is that the next phase cannot start for 2 weeks. And the reason for that is there's a 2-week incubation period per phase to watch what happens basically after the first phase is initiated. So we will not enter phase 2 for at least 2 weeks. Of course, that can change every day, but that's based on the governor's guidelines as they are today. The other thing I was going to mention is that if you go into this NY or forwardny.gov, it gives you a whole list of more specifically of what's permitted per phase. So, I mean, in brief, it's construction, manufacturing, wholesale, curbside pickup, at retail. But if you go to the website, you'll see it's more specific per business. So with that, we'll start our meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag
Of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Kathy, would you lead the prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we pray thee to grant wisdom to all who are in authority, that order and justice may be upheld to the benefit of all citizens, and guide us to better serve the people of our community. Restrain those who seek to destroy our government. We ask your divine wisdom to rest upon our leaders to guide them and protect them. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kathy. As far as public input, I think everybody's aware there is no public input at our meetings. However, there is a period after the meeting where people can comment to Kathy or call my office if they have questions or comments related to any activities at this meeting tonight. For the record, all the board members are present, whether they're here with me or via Zoom, they're all present. May I have the approval of the minutes May 4th, please? Somebody make a motion? I have a motion. A second, please.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Who made the motion?
Aye. Motion carried. Bill payment of May 18th, 2020. Voucher number 202-00606 through 202-000-691. A total amount of $256,963.49. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Who did the second? I can't hear them.
It was Gil and Kurt.
Thank you.
Bills are paid. Thank you. Departments. Paul Siegman is not on tonight, and I was aware of that. Also, Richie, do you have any comments if you want to fill us in on what happened today? I already aware of it, but let the other board members.
Yeah, Don, I know you're aware that we had an issue with our elevator over on our Williams Road pump station. that pump station's 30 foot deep. There's an elevator that takes you down to the bottom, and that broke the other day. One of my guys had to climb up the stairs to get out. And that's not an easy task, climbing up through a hatch and up the stairwell. So I had elevator maintenance out for Buffalo to repair it, and they think they can get it repaired by tomorrow. It's about $4,000 to make the repair. So it's an emergency repair. It's got to be done. We can't live without it.
And I've just, so the other board members know, Richie, I gave Richie the authorization to go ahead and get it fixed under the emergency repair. I mean, it's something that has to be done, so it's being done. Thank you, Richie. What else you got tonight?
Like I said, we're up here on Lockport Road. National Grid put a pole into a crossover sewer that we had up here. We're just about done fixing it, but you know, these things happen once in a while. Under this phase one, are we going to bring the employees back now, because construction's going to open up and I'm going to need more bodies to go out and inspect and do stuff? So,
You know, Richie, we are not as of yet. I met with the other supervisors today, and we're still going to stay on the split shifts for health and safety reasons. We still have a increase in cases for the coronavirus, and I can't see the town hall even opening up until sometime in June. When we do open up, and I was going to get into that as part of my report, I might as well talk about it now. Most of the town halls will open up in June sometime, more like the third week in June. And what we'll do is anybody that does come to the town hall will be up by appointment only, and they can be either by name or by number. I'm sorry, we're getting some feedback here, but they can get into the town hall. Just to go on a little bit further, Richie, not to hold you up, but if you have to have someone back in right away, I would say do that, but I'd still like to keep the split shifts. And I won't get into a department, but another town had a case where there is a positive case in someone's family, and that could eliminate the whole department. So I would rather wait, Richie. If you need to bring somebody else on, bring them in. But I still like to have some backups until we get this virus under control.
okay.
Okay. I mean, if it becomes a necessity, we can have another guy come in, then we'll just overload on one shift. But we still need, like your assistant or your deputy should not be on the same time you are.
Okay, we'll leave it go as is, and that's all I have.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to see everybody back to work, but speaking with all the supervisors today, we're all pretty much in the same thinking as far as bringing everybody back to work.
Okay,
Okay. What else you got, Rich?
that's it.
Okay. All right. Mike Rinaldi has no report tonight. I talked with him today. And Mike Clark, what do you have for us?
Well, as you said earlier, the governor did give us the okay for phase one. And I understand the phone's been ringing off the hook. People have been calling me all day long, you know, that they're jumping, ready to get their permits. A lot of these guys will be in place as of the next 2 days. I'll be releasing some new construction permits. That being said, Brian's been back for a couple of weeks. So between him and I, we're working opposite shifts. So we'll be able to keep up with the inspections. So we'll continue what as you requested, keeping us with the split shifts. But as far as we're concerned, we will be issuing building permits starting again tomorrow. So we're back on it.
Hey, Mike, before you're not having people come into the building yet, correct?
No, in fact, with the process, we've explained this over the last 2 months to everybody as far as applicants, that we've been using the drop box at the town hall. We've been using the vehicle for oversized plans to take them. We're doing stuff virtual or digital, I should say. So we're getting that. So between all of that, we've been working along these lines for the last 2 months.
Right.
So, and everybody's gotten used to it, still working with us.
Okay.
What's going to have to happen, I think, is the discussion about planning board and zoning board. You know, we've got applicants for some other projects and questions. Are we going to schedule something next month for the planning board,
Sure.
the zoning board? What do we do with those? Because I have some projects that are pending zoning board approval. Maybe there's maybe there's a project that needs engineering approval yet that didn't get that far through planning. And I'm getting those emails. So I guess that conversation has to happen.
Okay, and rather than go too far with feedback. Anyway, rather than go too far with you tonight, Mike, I'd like to speak with you sometime this week. I did meet with the constables today, and
Okay.
they are going to be a big part of our reopening. When we have public hearings, we discussed it today, there'll be somebody screening anyone coming into the building. They'll have to wear a mask. They'll be pre-registered to attend a meeting. So if the zoning board is having a public hearing or the planning board is having a meeting, whoever is coming will be pre-registered. There'll be another constable, and other towns are doing the same thing. We'll seat people where they have to be so there's a social distance. They'll also have to wear a mask, and we'll be able to conduct public hearings, but pre-registration for any meeting or any public hearing so that we can regulate how many people are attending the meetings. And there will be a cutoff. And if not that, then they can observe the meeting through a taped session. But we'll talk about that further, Mike.
Okay.
Those are, and of course, they haven't worked in a couple months also, but they're more than willing to assist in screening people as they come in, placing them. And so I think we've got a good handle on what we're going to do for public hearings and even including the town board meetings when that should happen.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's see, the assessor asked me to announce, and she was going to make the announcement tonight, but just as a reminder, we have our assessment board of review next week, the Tuesday, the 26th, between 4 and 8. So far, no one has filed a grievance, but they still have to have open hours in case someone wants to come in and grieve. We will have a constable here to bring one person in at a time in front of the assessment board of review, who will be socially distanced here at the town hall in our meeting room. So if someone does have a grievance, that they'll be allowed to speak. So that's set to go, but that was pretty much what Kelly had to talk about. Any questions on that? Okay, we've got Tim Zuber. I haven't seen you in a while, Tim. Where are you? There you
I know, it's been weird. I miss you all.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really have much on our agenda this evening. I threw in there a planning board report, just saying that we haven't had any planning board meetings, just because we usually do that on the second meeting of a month. I threw in a brief our project summary as usual in there. Not much has changed on that. We do have a motion for you this evening, and that is for the town to declare lead agency and authorize us to start a coordinated review under seeker for the Shawnee Road waterline replacement project. Under normal circumstances, that would really normally be an unlisted action, a short EAF, and not as much of a process. But due to the types of grants we're going after, they want us to treat it like it's a type 1 project. So we've done a full environmental assessment form and are going to do a coordinated review, just so that all the funding agencies and permitting agencies are well aware of our intentions for the project.
Okay.
So that's in your packet. The only other thing is this would be the meeting that everyone gets to hear about our annual MS4 stormwater report for the year. So unfortunately, you're going to be disappointed that it's all, most of the other municipalities have pretty much said they're going to limit this year to just posting it on the website. But if you want to look at that, or anybody has any questions on there, I did get that to Paul last week. I think he was having a little difficulty getting it on the website today. So if it's not on there yet today, it should get on there sometime tomorrow. There's a link to Lou Anastasi's email underneath there. So if anybody has any questions, they can click right on that and get to Lou.
Anything else, Tim?
That's all we have so far.
Well, good to see you, by the way.
You too.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Matt, if you want to go ahead with the motions here, I'm looking to my right here, and he's.
Okay, Matt's muted.
Matt, you're muted.
Sorry.
That's
All right, back to square one. Okay, this first one was, as Tim mentioned, from Wendell. Motion, whereas the town of Wheatfield seeks to install a new 8 or 10-inch water line and appurtenances along Shawnee Road, and whereas the existing 8-inch water line is in a deteriorated condition, and whereas the proposed project has been determined to be an unlisted action under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR, and a full environmental assessment form, Part 1, has been completed for the project, and whereas the town of Wheatfield desires to serve as lead agency for the proposed project, and now therefore be it resolved that the Wheatfield Town Board in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act and acting as the lead agency, hereby initiates a coordinated review for the proposed project and authorizes the town engineer to prepare mailings to the identified, involved, and interested agencies in order to receive comment on the lead agency designation and the proposed project.
So moved.
Well, I got a question. What's going to determine
No.
if we do an 8-inch or 10-inch?
Sorry, Randy, I can't hear you.
What's the 8-inch or 10-inch? What's deciding that what we're going to do?
I don't know, Richie, what is the size of the line going in there?
The original line that's down through there now is 8-inch, but the stub line that came down for Forest Parkway and the line that's left is 10-inch. Now, we did some water flows the other day down there, and 10-inch would definitely be a huge improvement over what the 8-inch line is there. So for the little bit of cost difference, I think we're better off trying to go to a 10-inch line there.
That answer it, Randy?
That's what I was getting at, because I mean, the biggest cost of excavation and stone and labor, I mean, the cost of the pipe is in it.
Okay. Yeah. But still, it's 10 inches is a better flow and more capacity anyway. Okay.
That was kind of a last minute conversation that we were having. So I'd already sent the motion in, and I didn't want to get us in bind by just saying we're going to put a new 8-inch. So we put the option for both. And
Okay. All right, Randy's satisfied with that answer. Okay, we have a motion?
Seeker motion. I'll make a motion.
Okay, I have a second? I'll make the second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, that was, again, gents, that's seeker only. Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Okay, next motion from the town board. Be it resolved, resolution to request National Grid to remove the existing street light on pole number 2251 on Lockport Road and to request National Grid install a new street light on the proposed traffic signal pole at the intersection of Walmore Road and Lockport Road East. The proposed traffic signal pole will be installed as part of the Niagara County DPW project known as EPN 1608 PIN 5761.79 Walmore Road rehabilitation. The requested luminaire shall be 96-watt LED. Be it further resolved, there shall be no additional cost to the town for the moving location of this light. In fact, it's expected the town will save money by converting to LED and electricity cost. The new location will be more central into the intersection, making an improvement from a lighting and therefore a public safety improvement.
Any questions, gents?
This one was from me. I put it forth. I was working with Niagara County DOT. There is a project to redo the intersection at Walmore and Lockport Road. And as part of that project, it was suggested that the existing location of the streetlight at that intersection could be better. So that's essentially what it is. There's no additional cost to us, so it's a win-win for us.
And the
I'll
other-
make the motion.
Okay. Motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Matt.
Okay, next motion from the town board is a resolution to cancel with regret the use of the town of Wheatfield grounds and facilities for the Western New York Volunteer Firefighter Convention scheduled for July 23rd to the 25th, 2020, due to the COVID-19 emergency situation.
Well, they've already canceled, but I'll go ahead and make the motion just to clear it up. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I can't, who did the second?
Aye.
Randy made the second, Kathy.
Okay.
And opposed. Motion carried. Go ahead, Matt.
Next motion again from the town board. It's a resolution to cancel with regret the town of Wheatfield 4th of July fireworks and Independence Day events due to the COVID-19 emergency situation.
I need a motion.
So moved.
I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Can you need to tell me who's making it, because I can't tell.
Okay, who made the motion on that?
That was me. Kurt made the motion, and I don't know who
Randy
seconded.
made the second.
Okay.
I think, I don't. Okay, so no opposition. Next one, Matt, please.
Next motion again from the town board, resolution to cancel with regret all the town of Wheatfield summer recreation programs, team sports, and all activities events due to the COVID-19 emergency situation.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried. Just to add to that, we've already had people call questioning us canceling our recreation programs. It's physically impossible for us to allow sports programs when kids are using the same helmets and same bats. And, kids are kids. And in a playground, you can't expect them to maintain social distance. So that's part of why we did this. It's literally impossible, and because of the virus. So we've had several calls already questioning why we would do it, but we had no choice. Anyway, thank you. Go ahead, Matt.
Next motion's from the Water and Sewer Department to hire Peyton Sigmund effective May 26th, 2020 as summer seasonal help for the Water and Sewer Department at a rate of pay and terms pursuant to the job specifications of the Water and Sewer Department seasonal help and pending approval of the Human Resource and the Niagara County criminal background check.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second? I'll make the second, Kathy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried.
Next motion from the Town Clerk Department, resolution to hire Megan Reinhardt as a part-time deputy town clerk at a rate of pay and pursuant to job specifications for a part-time deputy clerk pending approval of Human Resource and an Niagara County criminal background check.
And I just want to clarify, she's being hired as a full-time person, but working part-time until this is over.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion, and Randy made the second, I believe, or Larry? Larry made the second.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, and then there was one supplemental motion that came in late today from the town board.
Hey, Matt.
Whereas,
Matt, I got a question on the last motion. And
okay,
will the deputy town clerk that's working part-time be getting full-time benefits?
I believe not until they start full-time, my understanding.
Right.
When that transition goes from the COVID-19 emergency and they're working part-time, not benefits. When they go to full-time, and benefits will start to accrue.
And she's on probation anyway, so they don't kick in until after probation.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Matt.
Okay, and then the supplemental motion I mentioned from the town board, and whereas there currently exists a billing dispute between the town of Wheatfield and National Grid, and whereas National Grid claims a $16,376.85 plus any additional interest and fees is due on the account, and the town of Wheatfield disputes this amount, and whereas the town and National Grid agree to resolve the matter with the removal of an amount consisting of all the late fees and interest on the account, reducing the amount due to $5,242.67. And whereas in consideration of the waiving of said late fees and interest, the town agrees to promptly remit payment to National Grid of said reduced amount. Now therefore be it resolved that in full satisfaction of the disputed amount of $16,376.85 plus any additional interest and fees to National Grid, the town of Wheatfield shall remit the amount of $5,242.67 on account number 13538791007, resolving the outstanding billing dispute and full balance on said account being paid in full.
Kurt, you want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion. Thank you.
I'll second.
On the question, Kurt, you did a fantastic job bird dogging this.
Well,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was going to say the same thing, Kurt, but Larry took my thunder. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And once again, Kurt, I don't know if you're still listening, but thank you so much for your effort. You saved the town some money. You did a great job, and you took some of the monkey off of my back. Okay.
And I have no further motions.
Okay, let's go to board members. Larry Hellwick. Okay.
I got a couple things. Wendell sent us an email. It wasn't from Tim Zuber, but it was from the GIS office at Wendell. Their GIS is being down. I think the dates are from Friday night until Monday sometime, right, Tim?
I think it's Thursday at about 5 p.m. on through Monday, so it'll be back up on Tuesday.
Yeah, so it's down for about 4 or 5 days. So I just, Richie and departments, just make sure that you're
saw
aware that GIS services are going to be down for that length of time. Second thing I had, we did announce that we were getting 2 outdoor Wi-Fi antennas. We're only getting 1 now. The county had such a demand for them. They said we could have 2 if they didn't have demand, but they did have quite a bit of demand. So we'll be getting 1 connected to Town Hall, and Mike Clark will be helping with the installation of that.
Yep.
And earlier, I think when Mike Clark was on about the Planning and Zoning Board, both the Planning Board and Zoning Board have their own individual copies of Zoom. And I know that I was on this morning with the Zoning Board, and they got a conference coming up just to see how they're going to react when things open up for them. And but they both have a copy of Zoom, and it sounds like they've done a couple of test sessions and practicing. So if they need it, they'll be ready for it. That's all I have.
Yeah, Gil. Whoops. Larry, you have to unmute me. Gil, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
I still have. Go ahead, Gil.
I don't have anything, Don.
Okay. Thank you, Gil. Kurt, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so that billing issue with National Grid that we just passed today really paves the way for us to get started on the LED lighting conversion. So as soon as we get that check over to National Grid, we'll be in line for the construction to start. So I'll keep everybody informed as to how that process is going. With Wheatfield enhancement volunteers, we did get a chance to meet this past week. It was our first meeting on Zoom. And it worked out great. I really think nobody had an issue. We had 5 participants in the session, and we even talked about maybe leveraging it for meetings in the future. So for us, at least, it's going really well. There's a couple of things that we had that we are working on, the volunteers. One is kind of a re-scoping of our objectives, given that some of the changes that occurred with COVID-19 this year. We do want to continue with our efforts to refurbish the rock wall that's at the corner of Nash and Niagara Falls Boulevard. It's an existing wall that's there. The wall is actually beautiful, but what we'd like to do is add some Wheatfield branding to it. This year, we know that budgets are tough, so we are not planning on completing the project, but we just want to proceed with the design work. So Rita Contact, who's on the meeting here, put together a really good scoping document, and right now we're working with a couple of engineering firms, including Wendell, and trying to get an idea of what it would cost to put together kind of a professional design. So after we have an idea of what something like that will cost, we'll come back and make sure that everybody on the board is comfortable with whatever that spend will be. But I'm confident that whatever we come up with will be way under our budget that we had planned for 2020, because we want to kick into the effort to save some funds, knowing that this is going to be a tough year budget-wise. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, in the interest of continuing things forward and being conscious of cost on Niagara Falls Boulevard, we were looking for inexpensive ways to continue that objective. And one of the things is asking area residents and businesses along the boulevard to put out 4th of July colors, red, whites, blues, flags, things of that nature. And right now, Giuliotto is actually putting together some flyers that the group is planning on distributing to residents and businesses along the boulevard. And I just wanted to make sure there was awareness around that. And, you know, if there are any concerns or issues, you know, to let me know.
Very good, Kurt. Thank you. Anything else, Kurt?
Nope, that was it for me. And oh, actually, one more thing. Sorry, Don. Tim, so the document that I was talking about that Rita put together, if I can't figure out a way to get that to you digitally, where it's a huge, it's like 46 megabytes, I will put it in snail mail and get it over to you that way.
I did get one from Rita on Saturday.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I don't think it was 46 meg though. It was just a couple page PDF with some pictures in there, I think, of what you guys were looking for. Is that right?
Yeah. So maybe Rita, you found a way to compress it. It was big when I had it. Excellent.
She was able to send it to my Gmail account though, so then it wasn't looking for a Wendell clearance. It just went through my Gmail, so that was easier to download. Thank you.
Whatever works.
Okay. Thank you, Kurt.
Now I'm done.
Do you have any, Kurt?
COVID work plan, do we need a work plan? I know as a contractor, we have better plans.
Yeah, I think we are in order with our COVID work plan, aren't we, Matt? With distance separation, and Randy's question to me was, are we in order with our work plan here? For Matt, can you hear me, Matt?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I couldn't hear you.
Randy's report, he would like to know, are we in compliance with our COVID work plan? And I believe we are.
Yeah, we do. We have a work plan, and we have notices posted, and we have federal regulations posted. We are supposed to, when we get back to full force, which hasn't happened yet, but we're supposed to have a back to work plan, which is not done yet, but I'm working on it. And there are a lot of samples coming out from different organizations, and I've been sort of receiving them daily and mulling through and taking out what we want. But so that's the next step prior to we get back, sort of the back to work plan. But all the existing plans, notices, hand washing postings, transmission prevention posters, everything else, and we also have a plan in effect that is all up to snuff at this point.
Okay, thank you. It's down to me. Just so everyone's aware, you know, we still have the rain barrel sale. Whoops, somebody's got a phone going. We have the rain barrel still the 24th, 25th, and 27th of June. We are planning still distributing the orders. Everyone will get a number. Everyone will have a name. And when they pull up, their order will be placed in front of them. We'll also have a constable here to make sure it doesn't get out of order. They can load up their own rain barrels or whatever, and they can leave. They will be paid for previously. If anybody's interested in purchasing rain barrels, compost bins, and the accessories, they can contact myself or Debbie with the appropriate website. And I'll give the same website to Kathy so that someone should call. It's going to be busy because people, well, let's put it this way, that we're having some of the people from Buffalo too because they missed their date. So it's an Erie County, Niagara County thing, but it will still be the 24th, 25th, and 27th of June. Contact my office or Kathy to make sure that we take care of it. The other thing I want to thank all of our employees, the essential workers. I met with the highway department last week and thank them and the highway department, and the sewer department and water department for working through this virus because they were deemed essential. And I know there's times they did not want to work. But Richie, to you and your men and Paul and everyone else, my hat's off to you. And I certainly appreciate it. And I would hope you relay that to your men, that they're greatly appreciated for their efforts through this whole thing. And what else do I have here? I did mention that there is a blood drive coming up at the American Legion, and they had asked me to bring it up. Let me see, I've got the information, I've got a stack of paper here, so bear with me. There will be a blood drive at the American Legion post. I just dropped everything on the floor, so there you go. And it will be, let me see, folks. Bear with me 1 second here. Memorial Day weekend, there'll be a blood drive at the American Legion. It doesn't give me a specific time, but if you want to contact someone, you can contact Melanie, and her phone number is area code 716-319-0958, and that's a blood drive for the much needed blood at the American Legion on this upcoming weekend. Let me just see what else I may have dropped here on the floor. I'll be right back. Okay, we talked about the assessment board of review, and let's see. No, again, the constables too. I think they're going to be a big part of our reopening. I know the town of Niagara and town of Lewiston has a police force, but to keep things orderly and make sure that people do come in and are still screened, wear masks, and be taken to the appropriate departments. Nobody's just going to open up the buildings. Hey, come on in. It's not going to happen that way. It's going to be something that will be progressive. Mike, we'll talk about this when you and I get together, but if people want to come in and see you, they can make an appointment, and you can give it to the constables, and they will let them in and take them to your conference room or whatever you decide to do. So that's all I have tonight. I keep thinking I'm missing something, but I guess not. So with that, our next meeting will be June 1st, 2020, and we haven't decided on a time, but we'll say for 6:30 again. That'll be our Zoom meeting again. And that's all I have. I need a motion to adjourn, folks. Oh, wait, Larry has something. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's canceled. It has been. I don't know if everybody got that. The memorial services were canceled at the highway garage.
Okay.
And that was their call. They also, it would have been canceled. Everyone is canceled theirs too. Can I have a motion to adjourn, folks? Thank you for attending. We are adjourned, and everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon. Oh, by the way, Ed, while we're just about adjourned, I did meet with the constable department today, and they confirmed the amount that we had discussed to cut from their budget back into that. So that was a good.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too. Thank